Today we want to take a look at a conic section that's all multiplied out and figure out which form it is. Is it a parabola, an ellipse, or hyperbola? And put it into the correct formula so that we can graph it, identify its foci or its vertex or whatever it is that we're trying to do. So if I take a look at number 1 here, since I only have one variable squared, I know it has to be parabola. Since the x is squared, I want to try to put it into the form of x minus h quantity squared is equal to 4p times y minus k. So the parabola, I want my x's to be on one side and everything else to be on the other side. So I'm going to leave my x squared minus 4x over here on the left-hand side and move the 36y and the 112 over to the right-hand side. To make this a binomial squared, I have to use the process of completing the square. So I want to figure out what c value I need in order to create this as a binomial squared. C is always equal to b over 2 quantity squared. Remember that in a quadratic, it's ax squared plus bx plus c. So if I have a b here of negative 4, I'm going to take negative 4 over 2 and square that, and I get 4. If I add 4 to the left-hand side, I have to add 4 to the right-hand side as well because it's an equation. What I do to one side, I have to do the other side. Now that I have x squared minus 4x plus 4, I can factor it. The nice thing about completing the square is that the inside part, b over 2, is going to be your common factor. If I want to figure out what multiplies to 4 and adds to negative 4, it's going to be a negative 2 and a negative 2. So if you want, you can make your little diamond here and test it out. What multiplies to 4 and adds to negative 4 is a negative 2 and a negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. Negative 2 plus negative 2 is negative 4. So then I can factor the left-hand side. And over on the right-hand side, negative 12 plus 4 gives me a negative 108. But I need to make this guy look like 4p times the quantity y minus k. So that means we want to get y alone. We're going to factor out whatever number is out in front of our y from both terms. So I'm going to pull that GCF of 36 out. And I'm going to be left with a y from the first term and a negative 3 from the second term. Now that I have it in the correct format, I can see that for this parabola, my vertex would be at 2, 3, and then it's going to open upwards because my x is squared and my 4p is positive. I can set this 36 equal to 4p, and I could figure out that my p is 9, so that means I would go from my vertex up 9 to get my focus and back 9 to get my directrix.